Welcome this morning, and we are reading out of the book Quantum Life by Saint Germain and channeled by Barbara Volkman. This morning we are reading chapter 12, 21 days of daily improvement. So let's go. Chapter 12, 21 days of daily improvement. Hello, my dear hearts. Today we're starting a more practical part of this book to encourage you and give you some directions in this process of continuous and constant improvement in your lives. First of all, you need to understand that the important thing is to be firm in the process, committed to each small step of improvement, and not worried about the speed at which the transformation takes place. The process needs to be sustained in a responsible and lasting way so that the changes naturally become part of your daily life. Abrupt changes and cuts can be more difficult to sustain and can generate a rebound effect, leading you back to the people, situations, and behaviors you were trying to get away from to heal in yourself. So the first step of the journey is constancy. Working on your improvement a little every day is what will make it natural for you, like an adaptation process. That's why the title of the chapter suggests 21 days of improvement. Daily dedicated work accumulates energy at the point where you want to make a change or manifest in your life. The energy is concentrated to the point where it erupts in the form in which it has been worked on. In other words, it can be concentrated either towards the negative, when bad habits, thoughts, emotions, and reactions are cultivated on a daily basis, or towards the positive, which is what we are trying to suggest with this practice. In order to implement the 21 days of self-improvement, we first need to define the point in you that will be worked on, which can be easy or more laborious to identify, depending on your level of self-perception. Some points that can be worked on: speech, patterns, negative thoughts or emotions expressed daily. Automatic limitations of the mind. Habits you want to cure or acquire. Repetitive situations and reactions in your life. Cures in interpersonal relationships. Things you want to set out to do. Creating new feelings. Healing traumas, clearing paths, among others. Evaluate yourself and select 1 to 3 points to focus on during the 21 days and afterwards, of course. Don't try to embrace the world and change everything at once. The process is more like a long race than a speed test. For those who find it difficult to select or see the points that need to be worked on, the first round of 21 days can be focused on self-reflection, on evaluating yourself and your attitudes, so that this process becomes a conscious habit. To carry out this process, we will divide the 21 days into 3 stages of 7 days each. First 7 days. Evaluation and development of self-awareness. Having established a point to work on, your next step is to activate your attention and start identifying the times you speak, think, or act in repetition of what you set out to improve. The first few days are essential to bring awareness to the deliberate and unconscious way in which the pattern was repeated. Evaluate all the times the pattern was repeated and see if there is anything in common between them, any trigger that generates the reaction. Be honest with yourself and don't turn a blind eye to the unconscious repetition or look for justifications for continuing the pattern. You've set out to change, now let's move forward. From 8 to 14 days, correcting the pattern and seeking to understand the cause. Now that you're more aware of the repetition and the triggers that activate it, you begin the process of correction. Now, before repeating the pattern, you will take a breath and become aware that you don't want to perpetuate it any further. The attention and awareness developed in the first 7 days will be your pillar of support for correcting old habits. Here are some situations. Have you repeated the pattern either in thought or action? Become aware of it right away and undo it with the mentalization, cancelled, cancelled, cancelled. The aim is to avoid automatic repetition. If it's natural for you to complain about something, let's turn it around and make not complaining natural through awareness and correction. At the same time, let's also start digging deeper to understand the cause of this pattern. Is it some old trauma, some situation or context in which you find yourself? Something needs to be looked at and learned there, which will help expand awareness and undo the pattern. From 15 to 21 days, strengthening and implementing the change. Analysis of the lessons learned throughout the process. From the 3rd week onwards, the corrected posture should already be being followed and the changes already in place in your life. This is where the improvement is strengthened. With the support of awareness and the daily building of change and improvement towards a certain point, not repeating the pattern starts to become something natural. The urge to repeat is now more easily contained or even annulled. Your conscience will be strong enough to self-correct at the slightest trigger of repetition. Of course, some points may need a longer period of dedication and awareness to correct, as this is directly related to previous conditioning and how identified the person is with this pattern of repetition or suffering. That's why it's called continuous improvement. Towards the end of the process, start analyzing how these 21 days have been for you. Notice the changes and their effects, the lessons learned and awarenesses gained, the root points that needed to be looked at, and perhaps you still need to go deeper, etc. When you see the change that the process has brought to your life, even if it's just a few steps towards a bigger goal, you realize that you have the capacity to transform countless points that you need to work on in yourself, and that everything is just an automatic mental pattern of conditioning that can be dissolved through awareness and dedicated work. After completing the 21 days, you can continue implementing the changes and releasing and understanding the root cause if it is a very established pattern in you. The process doesn't end with the end of the 21 days. You must sustain the change and remain conscious of the point you've worked on, so that you don't go back to sleep and repeat the patterns you've dedicated yourself to improving. The work is continuous and must continue for the rest of your life. With time, practice and awareness, everything becomes more practical. It becomes natural, just like riding a bike or exercising. The most important thing for success is the confidence you have in it. With every step you take, you have to trust that you are making progress. that you are gradually more aware and better than you were when you set out to begin the process. Believing that you are capable of progressing in your own process is essential to being successful in it. Not seeing progress or expecting it to happen instantly is the conditioning of the mind and ego that want the negative pattern to continue, or for you to give up or wait for a miracle to solve it. Moving forward with the daily process is the best way to achieve long-lasting change. So is loving and believing in each step. Hating the process is a sign that you're going in a direction that doesn't suit you, or that there are higher priorities to be seen and put into process. The more conscious you become throughout the process, the more comprehension comes to you, and you begin to understand many of your patterns within your belief system and the context in which you were born. The process will deepen your level of self-knowledge through the awareness you gain of yourself and your patterns. Set out to do this 21-day exercise, not once, but as many times as necessary. You will see how the change you want in your life is accessible to you. You just need a process and the dedication to follow it. Beloveds, I am Saint Germain. And this is the end of chapter 12. 21 days of daily improvement.